Hi, Timothy here, and welcome to my Star Wars The Force Awakens breakdown. If you haven't seen the movie already, make sure put this video in your favorites. Come back to it after you see the movie, because we're going to get into some heavy spoilers and a lot of kind of theories and speculations going into the 8th movie. So again, last chance, and here we go. So of course, this video is going to be about who are Rey's parents. And my big kind of idea theory is I'm more than confident that it's Luke is her father. After seeing the movie 3 times, I'm pretty confident, especially the 3rd time. I was really kind of honing into what they were saying, expressions, things like that. And I have to say I am very confident that I believe Luke is the father of Rey. Also, later on in this video, I'm going to talk about where I really think the surprise factor is going to be in the 8th movie. So hold on to that. Now, going into this video, I'm going to kind of break my theory down in 2 ways. One, a couple of parallels between movies, and also some of the detail that came from The Force Awakens. So without further ado, let's jump into some of the parallels. This is kind of some fun stuff. So first off, we have the clothing that's worn by Anakin, Luke, and Rey. They all kind of share similar features, gray, cream colored. And also, they all come from a desert planet. So, for instance, you got Anakin and Luke. They come from Tatooine. Then you have Rey. She comes from Jakku. All kind of a desert, kind of middle of nowhere place. They all seem lonely. They don't really know what their purpose is. They want to get off the planet and find a purpose. So I feel like that kind of parallels each other. Next, we have speeder bikes, or speeders, or hovercrafts, or whatever you want to call them. They all each have one, and some of you guys might be thinking, well, I know Luke and Rey do. How does Anakin? Remember, Anakin had a pod racer, so his pod racer counts as one. Also, Luke, he had his speeder from A New Hope, and then Rey, of course, has her speeder from The Force Awakens. Next, they're also all great pilots. We saw that with Anakin with his pod racing. We saw that and also at the end of Phantom Menace with the Naboo fighting. Then we also saw Luke with his great piloting skills at the end of A New Hope and throughout all the originals with killing the Death Star and just maneuvering. Then we also have Rey, who Rey showed us her piloting skills with the Millennium Falcon. So they all kind of hone in on great piloting and kind of fixing up things. Next, we get into the guardian, the parent, or kind of that watchful figure. For instance, with Anakin, we kind of get that with Qui-Gon Jinn. I know it's not as powerful as maybe the other two we're going to talk about, but Qui-Gon kind of acts as that guardian figure to Anakin. For Luke, we have Ben, or Obi-Wan Kenobi. He kind of acts as that guardian throughout the movie. And then also we have Rey. She has Lord Santeca, and he's the guy that shows up in the first few minutes and then gets killed by Kylo Ren at the beginning. So I feel like he was there to kind of watch out for Rey. Now, of course, we don't get much of him, so some people might go, I don't know, he didn't seem that important. Well, I think we're going to get more flashbacks and sequences come the next movie to explain a little bit more, because I think he's also casted in the 8th movie. So we'll have to take a look at that. 2 other parallels I want to talk about before we get into the important stuff. The next one, they all kind of have droids. Like Luke finds R2-D2 and C-3PO, and then Rey finds BB-8, and they both hold important information that kind of arcs the whole entire episode between R2-D2 and the Death Star plans and BB-8 and the map to Luke, and they kind of help start this character on their journey. So they kind of parallel there. And then finally, some people are talking about this. This is a cool little parallel. Han offering a job to Rey. We also see Han offering a job to Luke before he goes off to fight with the Death Star in A New Hope. So a lot of little parallels. Now, talking about parallels, they are kind of the toppings to my theory. They're kind of cool, but I don't feel like they're like big detailed or big kind of concrete reasons why I believe Luke is definitely the daughter. That goes into some of the stuff we're going to talk about now. So let's get into the meat of the argument. So first off, when we have Rey meeting BB-8 for the first time, she mentions that she is classified. That, yeah, I'm waiting for my family. I'm classified too. So that's kind of interesting. Why would somebody be waiting for their family, be classified? Next, let's talk about Rey's name in general. Rey in Spanish means royalty, king. So is she from a royal bloodline, the Skywalkers, which is kind of this royalty bloodline within the Jedis. Now, some people might go, that's a little bit of a stretch. Is it? Because if we go back to Darth Vader, Vader means father. So that was like a huge hint coming from the originals. So I have a feeling there's some little parallels and ties there. Next, let's talk about Kylo Ren, because Kylo Ren is a big little meat of what's going on in this movie, especially with the connections with Rey. First, he reacts really violently when he hears about the girl. For instance, when he's talking and trying to get information about how they got off the planet, he's informed that, Finn got away with BB-8, but also there was a girl, and when he finds that out, he force grips the person that told him, and then he's just like, what girl? So there's some kind of connection, because no other time has he even seen the girl, has he heard about the girl, so why is he all concerned about a particular girl he hasn't even seen or met? So that seems to kind of cause concern. Also, he gets a little bit concerned over her powers. When he starts interrogating her and realizes she's using a Force back, he starts to be a little bit more worried. You can see it in his expressions, as well as when he's interrogating her. He's not overdoing it like with Poe. Poe, he was like really hurting and making him bleed. This one, he didn't really he just kind of seemed to go in her mind. And also when he had the chance to kill her at Maz's place, he didn't. He brought her. It was like he could sense something. He saw something in her mind. He knows the truth. So I feel like there's a little bit of connection between her and Kylo, whether that's them being sister and brother or cousins. Of course, I'm going the cousins route because of some more detail, but I really believe there's some kind of connection, and he knows, because he even offers to train her in the middle of their battle, just like Darth Vader offers it to Luke coming to the dark side. So I feel like he knows something and he's fearful, because even during the battle, he kind of freaks out when she grabs the lightsaber. It belonged to him. Why would a non-Skywalker get that lightsaber and also pull it out the same way Luke pulls it out in The Empire Strikes Back out of the snow? So a couple little things that are kind of curious with Kylo Ren. Next, let's talk about Han Solo. There's two instances that I feel like Han Solo knows about Rey. Now, I don't know if he really knew who Rey was at the beginning, but I think he starts to catch on a little bit later, because when he's talking to Maz Kanata, he starts, they're all kind of talking together, and then all of a sudden, Rey leaves, Finn leaves, and then Maz and Han are together, and Maz goes, so who's the girl? Tell me about the girl. And then it cuts. And I feel like he knows. He tells Maz Kanata about the girl. He also tells Leia about Rey, because Finn goes to Leia and goes, we have to save the girl. And she goes, well, I know, Han told me about the girl. So Han Solo keeps telling people about this girl as if there's something we're missing. There's something more Han Solo knows. So I feel like there's a little bit more kind of subtleness there to kind of lead up to the 8th movie. Next, let's talk about Maz Kanata in general. So after Maz kind of hears about the girl, we see this reaction with the lightsaber. The lightsaber is calling to Rey. She has her vision. It has all Skywalkers in the past in her vision, going from Darth Vader to Luke to Kylo Ren, and then Rey being left off. So I feel like this is her getting called, and as well to her lightsaber. And this is where a lot of people are having the argument between, is she an Obi-Wan? Is she Han and Leia's kid? Is she Luke? Is she really nobody related? And let's talk about what Maz says. This is what Maz talks about after the vision. She goes, whomever you are waiting for on Jakku, they're never coming back. But there's someone who still could. Right there, that is the line that is getting a lot of fanboys and geeks like myself really kind of fired up on who are the parents. I think it really clarifies that it's Luke for a couple reasons. One, they're never coming back. Yeah, her parents are never coming back. Or even whoever dropped her off, maybe it wasn't her parents that dropped her off. They're never coming back because there's someone who still could, but you need to go find them, because she even goes on to say the belonging you seek is not behind you, it's ahead, as if they're not coming back, but you have to go find them because you are kind of in this protection mode and they don't want to come grab attention by coming to get you. So that's what I really believe. And also Maz goes on to mention the lightsaber. It was Luke's and his father before his, and now it calls to you. I think that's a huge hint that she's a Skywalker. Why would it call to a non-Skywalker? And I know some people might say, well, the Force just needs Rey to come out and save and bring balance. That's true, but there's just too much Skywalker jumping out at the screen at that moment. So that's what I feel about with Maz Kanata. Next, we have Leia. And there's a couple things with Leia. One, of course, a lot of people are talking about the hug Leia gives when Rey comes back to the Resistance base. And yeah, I feel like Leia is kind of noticing or feels or can kind of sense the Force or realizes what's going on. Also, when she gets to the base, R2-D2 goes off. And R2-D2 didn't go off before when BB-8 had the map. So I feel like R2-D2 was supposed to set off if that person, in this instance Rey, comes back. And so I think that's a little bit of a hint. But the big thing I haven't heard anybody talk about is right before Rey goes to find Luke, she's talking to Leia before she hops on the Millennium Falcon. And Leia says, "May the Force be with you." That's not the part I'm concerned about. I think we missed another conversation. I think another conversation was cut, just like Han's conversation with Maz and things like that. Because it seemed like Rey, before Leia says, "May the Force be with you," seemed like she told her something and Rey was reacting emotionally to it. And then she goes off, as if Leia was telling her the truth about Luke and her before she goes and meets up with Luke. So that's something that's very curious that I'm kind of interested in seeing. But let's get to the end of this. Why do I think this all kind of revolves around Luke being the father, and where are they going to go come the 8th movie? So when we see her interaction with Luke, a lot of people are saying, well, his reaction is to the lightsaber. He doesn't really know who she is. No, I think he knows who she is. And that first reaction, especially the third time I saw the film, Luke's looking at her as if, is this really you? Let me take a better look. Like curiosity. He hasn't seen this girl since she was 5, 7, however old she was when he left her off at Jakku. So I think he's just taking it in. Then she pulls out the lightsaber, and I think this plan went according to everything that he was hoping for. She has the lightsaber. She found him. All this plan. I think it was a whole plan that Luke set up, and if she fell and went through the whole plan, she was going to find him. And I think he starts to feel emotional. This has to be you, because only you could find my lightsaber. Only you could have found the map. Only you could have woken up R2-D2. And I think we get that emotional bond. Next, this is where I think they're going in the 8th movie. So at the end, we see Luke looking down at a stone. And at first I wasn't sure if it was a grave like a lot of people are saying, but I really think it's a grave. And this is why. And it could be the mother's grave, or it could be somebody else. At the end, when they pan out and they start to do their 360 view before it goes to the credits, it shows Rey in the middle, Luke, and then the grave on the other side, as if Rey's in between Luke in this gravesite, meaning like, is it Luke, the gravesite being the mom, and then Rey? Or is it Luke, Darth Vader's ashes in that grave, and then Rey in the middle saying you're a Skywalker, or your parent and the whole family is here? So I think the big reveal in the 8th movie is going to be the mom. And I think they use this not telling us that Luke definitely is the father to kind of get us off their trail, because I think instead of I am your father like it was in the 5th movie, I think the 8th movie is going to be a little parallel but a twist. I am your mother. Who is the mother? Because I think early on in the 8th movie they're going to tell us, oh yeah, I'm your father, Rey. Luke, you're her father. I think they're going to easily tell us, but that's what I really think. I think what we need to focus on are the theories between who is Rey's mother. So that's what I think. That's why I'm pretty confident that Luke is definitely Rey's father. But anyways, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you feel. But I hope you enjoyed it, geeking out with me. But anyways, It's time for me to go, so Timothy out. Peace.